past mistakes. I'm blue without your face. But what can I do? 'Cause I'm just a sinking ship, and you're just a pair of lips that I've lost in the moment. All I want is for you to come back. Now I'm caught in the middle of life, and I need you to survive.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Red Pill Diaries. I'm your host, Rashid, and I'd like to thank once again Professor E. Michael Jones for joining us on the platform. Greetings today.
Good to see you, Rashid. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
And it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Now let's deal with this 800-pound gorilla first, and then we'll deal with the other 800-pound gorillas after that. Lately there's been Pepe Escobar, and I just had Larry Johnson on right before you, and they were talking about Iran may have more than one nuclear bomb, and that they let it be known through Pakistani channels that if they're attacked again, they may demonstrate on Iranian soil the explosion of a nuclear bomb.
Well, that sounds like Iranians. I mean, what you would expect after all they've taken is let's try it out on New York City. Let's try it out on Manhattan. I hope they don't do that. But I mean, this just shows you that you're dealing with people who are rational in dealing with the escalation ladder. So I've always felt that they needed it to have a deterrent against Israel. So maybe they do have it. So if so, we'll see what happens. I just hope that Trump can pull out of this debacle before anything really disastrous happens. We're at a kind of stalemate here. I think. I think it's part of it's technological. There was a moment in history where the West was totally superior in every way, shape, and form. I think of the Battle of Omdurman in the Sudan, after Chinese Gordon was murdered by the Mahdi and his troops. And then Kitchener shows up with Maxim guns. And the Mahdi had 30,000 men on camels waving scimitars, and they were mowed down. It was just a shock to the whole Islamic world that happened. But gradually, things always catch up, and they reach a state of equilibrium. So you fast forward to World War I. Well, what happens when both sides have machine guns? What happens then? You're in trench warfare, and you can't come to a resolution. So the solution to that problem of the machine gun was the tank. And the tank, in a sense, was an essential weapon in World War II, along with the aircraft carrier, because the battleship had become obsolete. It just couldn't really project power as far as it needed to. Well, now we're in a situation where both those things are obsolete, and everybody's got drones, and the drones are becoming more and more effective on both sides, and people are looking for some type of resolution. So there's a meeting now in St. Petersburg with the forces of resistance, if you want to call that, Iran and Russia and everyone who supports them. And Pepe Escobar, I listened to his interview. I met him in Tehran in the Parliament building. And he's saying that there are forces that want to come to we want to finish this off. We want to end this war. The question is that technologically possible at this point? Do they have the ability to do that? I think that's part of the stalemate that we're talking about. I don't think they do. Does anyone have the ability to end this conflict?
Do you think that Israel will allow that a peace agreement to be signed because they have this messianic thing of them being greater Israel at all costs? They're willing to sacrifice the United States, and the United States is a hegemon or a declining global power, and in her decline, she's becoming more rabid in her thinking and in her policy moves. So to fully pull back under this condition, do you think that those in power would think that this is a capitulation to Iran? So they would rather just take the lumps on the head instead of acknowledging the obvious, and they would just push it full blast and see what happens?
Well, if you ask from the Israeli side, the Israelis clearly think they have veto power over whatever Donald Trump does. And the Israelis have clearly said to him that no, there's not going to be a peace agreement. We are going to pursue this war. So the big question at that point becomes, well, what about Donald Trump? Are you going to stand up to this guy, or are you going to let him run over you? And apparently, the last conversation he had was him telling Netanyahu that he was crazy, and that Netanyahu saying, "Well, you can't have an agreement without us." But he said after he said you were crazy, he said, "I kept you out of jail." This type of frank conversation, which he apparently substantiated after it happened. Is he going to take the next step and say, okay, if you're crazy, I'm not going to, they could end the United States can end Israel's military hegemony in a week. All they do is cut off the arms. Trump can't seem to bring himself to do this. So if his back is to the wall, if the Iranians threaten as some type of nuclear attack, is that the moment where the reality is going to sink in, and he's going to say, "I have to break with Netanyahu. We're not going to pursue this any further"? These are questions I cannot answer because can't understand the mind of Donald Trump, and I'm not sure Donald Trump understands the mind of Donald Trump. He's like the caliph. The caliph takes his evening ride, and he comes to the gate of the palace, anything until you deal with the Jewish question. And I think the Pope is reluctant to do that.
Well, it'll be pretty hard to address that issue there, because in Europe, in some places, it's illegal to even question the Holocaust, or you'll go to prison. And in the United States, they're starting to implement policies like that down in Florida.
Right.
And you see that Trump's new director of national intelligence is Israeli, pro-Zionist, and anti-Islamic, anti-Muslim, anti everything except Jewish. So are we heading full blast into a fascist system that is strained under the weight of its own?
Yes.
Ahead.
We are under. If there were any doubt that our system was totally controlled by the Jews, I mean our political system, it was the fact that IPAC and all of its allies spent $30 million to eliminate Thomas Massey from the primary. So this is what they call a Pyrrhic victory. Okay, you got what you wanted. Okay, you got rid of the guy, but in doing this, you proved all of the conspiracy theorists are right. The Jews do control our Congress. And the question is, well, what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do? So I'm reaching the point where I'm thinking that we, as the American people, we have no power. I mean, what can we do? All the normal channels have been taken over by these people. And so when you reach an impasse like that, I think God intervenes and uses people. And I think he's using Iran right now to break the yoke of Jewish Gaza, United States, wherever. It is this monolith, okay, that is controlling all aspects of our life. We're not allowed to talk about it, but they're doing something about it. So it comes down to, I mentioned in the article I wrote, I mentioned Bismarck. Bismarck was talking about the unification of Germany, and he gave a famous speech in which he said, the population started going down in Russia. That is really serious. And the man who came and rescued Russia was Putin. And he dealt with the Jewish question as he understood it, because the oligarchs who had taken over the patrimony of Russian industry and stuff like that, natural resources, they were all Jewish. And they said, basically, it's my way or the highway. And some of them left. One of the guys went to England to, oppose him. But the ones who stayed, I think Putin felt that he tamed them. Well, maybe you didn't. Maybe we need more. I think that and they got a chief because man is a social animal. And so this kind of libertarian magic bullet is not going to work. We have to have a government. What is the purpose of government? It's an entity that is so powerful that it can rein in the power of the wealthy. That's the reason we have government. What happened here is the exact opposite. The wealthy have taken over the government. You're not going to resolve this issue.
Are we living in the twilight of American empire and American